good afternoon to everyone. I'm thrilled to be with you today to share this keynote at Vivatech. I'm Damien Allo. I'm head of our KPMG advisory practice in France. I'll introduce you to David and Gonzague just a bit after. So this keynote today is how is Gen AI transforming the companies at the rapid pace. So that's the main question we will try to address today. Before we get into the details, just some thoughts I wanted to share with you. I think we've all been witnessing the massive shift in the way the potential and the power of Gen AI is coming up, thanks to specific tools like ChatGPT. This is one side of the question. Meanwhile, I think, or maybe you've got the opportunity to read a few months ago in a study or survey produced by Census, or US Census, some questions or some data on the fact that only 4% of business leaders are using AI today as part of their business, a bit less than 4%. And 6% of business leaders believe that they will use AI in the coming months. In parallel, 70% of the leaders believe that AI will be a key driver in the way they run business tomorrow. And I think that's it's just showing how difficult for our business leaders it is to figure out how to include this Gen AI technology or approach in their business. So I'm Damien Allo, thrilled to be with you today. In this session, we will try to witness, how people, David, Gonzague, manage to run this transformation in global companies. So Gonzague de Pirey, thank you very much for being with us today. You are the Omnichannel and Data Director for LVMH. I don't think we need to spend too much time on LVMH. 86 billion euros in revenue, more than 200,000 people across the world. 75 maisons. And David, Rowlands, thank you very much for being with us as well. You are leading our global AI for KPMG.
Yes.
And
thank you for having me.
I will probably start with a first question with you, Gonzague. From your standpoint, and going back to the introduction, what are the key use cases that we can comment that are illustrating how we are basically translating AI from a business standpoint at LVMH?
Thank you very much, Damien, and thank you very much to all the KPMG crew to invite another company on your booth, to give a bit of testimony. So really appreciate this. So really, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, we have this practice of data and AI already for a few years, and we are not anymore talking about use cases. We are now talking truly about business opportunities. We are getting a bit more mature now, and we try to use data and AI capabilities all along the value chain. To illustrate what could be done, solely on the front side, customer side, our client advisor side, but also in our back office on the supply chain part. Very interesting to understand, how much data can help us and AI can help us to make some forecasts that are much more accurate than, I would say, our traditional way to do forecasting. And in the luxury industry, it matters a lot because, of course, the raw materials that we are using to manufacture the very high quality product, you can imagine this raw materials is very rare, very expensive. So the more we are accurate in the forecast, the more it is great for the business and for the planet. So that's why we pay already for years now a great attention to this. What you are introducing is about the impact on the organization. What is true is that thanks to this new tool for supply chain, the supply chain people and salespeople are changing their way to work. Their internal process have changed because now they are interacting in a new way, centralized around this tool and these new processes. Same for the store assortment allocation. When you have this kind of a unique high quality piece, it's super important in the luxury industry to understand in which store this unique piece should stand. Same, it has to be a dialogue between the salespeople, the store managers, and the supply chain people. And this dialogue now is facilitated thanks to our tool powered by AI.
Yeah, brilliant. Yes, and at KPMG, of course, we're going on a similar journey. And for our audit businesses and our tax businesses, we're taking AI and we're weaving that into the methodology and the workflow of those practices, so that the AI is working in the context and on the data in a really controlled way in that kind of methodology. For KPMG's advisory business, we're helping clients install AI into their environment. And broadly, it's sitting into three types of AI technology. And the first is over agents or people or roles. And this one is a good example Gonzague was talking about here in terms of customer interaction. And I was watching on your stand there how the salesman could try on a ring virtually and then customize it. So customization and tailoring is a new capability. And so that's one really good example. But if we can organize AI agents together in an operating model, they become even more powerful. So if they can follow processes or data structures or governance models, decision rights, then they become exponentially more powerful. And the example here that Gonzague was talking about, where you optimize the supply chain, and here AI is organized alongside other elements of the operating model to really take cost out of that and risk out of the organization. And the third way AI is being used is over complex engines, models. And here, these are often specific to a particular sector. For instance, in the UK, we're working with the health service to optimize their resource allocation and coordination. An extremely complex set of inputs into the healthcare process that needs to be optimized. And of course, now for the first time, AI can solve that at the scale that the NHS has those kind of problems. So three different ways.
Thank you. We talked about supply. It's also about customer experience. What could you share, Gonzague, about that piece?
Yeah, that was a bit the first piece that we were tackling, because the luxury customer experience is at the core of what we are proposing to our customers. Of course, we propose a high quality product, but we cannot just, sell it, I would say, on Amazon online, of course. Yeah. This has to come with a kind of what we call a ceremony. But this selling ceremony, can be amplified, powered, customized, thanks to data and AI. And this is precisely what we are doing. All our salespeople around the world, we have 100,000 salespeople in the stores, the client advisors, actually they have in their phone a clienteling app or retail app where they could basically serve their customer much better. For instance, a new collection is arriving. To which customer I should propose this collection? The system is powered now by AI to tell this client advisor, for this kind of collection, I would advise you to contact not your 200 people, but maybe only these 30 people. And you will see that conversion rate for those one will be much better. For this collection, you can contact this customer, and maybe the system will tell you at what time of the day is better for you to contact this customer, which channel is the most appropriate. And now, thanks to GenAI, we can also customize the message that the client advisor would give to the customer. Maybe make some proposal about it. So generated by GenAI, knowing about the brand, the client advisor, and the customer, and to be able to personalize this relationship. This is an example of how we are using these technologies, I would say, inside our usual way of working. In this case, the client advisor.
Yeah. I mean, the story there is of an enhancement to the 100,000 workforce, and the Gen AI technology is surprising in the way that it's showing some characteristics, and I think they're human characteristics that it's showing, such as empathy and patience and high quality and determination. You know, these are the characteristics, and they're very, very useful in a customer environment. So call centers are suddenly becoming more helpful and more polite, and letters that we're sending to our customers to fulfill, they're becoming more empathetic. And analysis and decision making is becoming more empathetic. So we have worked with retail clients to analyze where best to locate their stores. And over years we've been, recent years, and this used to be the best technology. You would look at signals data, and you would look at the mobility data from phones. You would look at demographic data. You would look at affluence data, and plan where to put the stores. But it was missing one factor, which was the vibe factor, which AI can now assess. So AI will assess everything that's been written about a location on the internet, and also image data, and give us a score on the vibe, the sentiment of that location. And that has really improved the performance of these models as to how retail organizations are going to perform in each location.
Great. Gen AI remains a technology, a tool, and sometimes there is a bit of magic behind it, or a black box effect. How do we manage to put Gen AI at the right place in these companies? And based on that, how do we manage to upskill the people appropriately?
Well, thank you. That's absolutely a great question, because potentially there is a hype, and we have to make sure that all what we are building will be here for the long term.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that it brings definitely value for the customers, for our people, for the top line generation, for the bottom line, for thanks to the efficiency, etc. But to make sure that we are doing this for good reasons and not for the magic effect, because this will not last.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's super important. So the way actually we are doing it, LVMH, as you introduced, is a very big group with like 75 maisons and too many people, etc., etc. So the way we operate actually is to do some kind of co-development, usually with a bigger maison of LVMH, to develop a solution, which is not only the technical solution, but also how to adopt this solution, how it is embraced, how it changes the process, the way of working, potentially the organization. So we test, I would say, all of this with one business opportunity, with one maison, very carefully, and we take all the learning of that. And at the holding level, we are co-funding this, etc., to make sure that we take all the learnings of this co-development. When this is co-developed, we kind of package the solution that then we can roll out in all the maisons, in a quite more, I would say, systematic manner, with a kind of proof point that a sister maison would have done it successfully before.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what you say. It keeps showing up as if it's got magic, but it isn't a magic wand. We're finding the hard work. It's hard work to put it in successfully, and then it's even harder work to scale it up. And I think there are three focuses that you need to have to make it a success. And one the first one you were very clear about, which is working out how to make this work in your business. So being content centric. So that might be around the business process, or it might be around the regulations that you're trying to solve, or it might be around a certain functional excellence that you're trying to optimize. But you've got to be very, very business outcome focused is the first one. And then the second one, you have to be trust centric. So we have to build trust into the program as we install AI. And that's part of making it scalable. And so at KPMG, we believe there are 10 capabilities that you need to master in order to be trusted in your use of AI. And they go through managing data, managing the models, managing the people, but also, are we installing AI that is fair and that is sustainable? So this framework is really important. Build trust as you go. And then the final one is to be human-centric. And in all of your stories about AI working with your sales agents, 100,000 people. This making sure that you are human-centric in the way that you are planning the transition with AI is so important. There's another trust question between organizations and their employees, and that has to be managed with integrity and authenticity. At KPMG, we run every month we run 24 hours of AI, which is an immersion experience where we train our people in how to use the tools and how to do that responsibly. And then that sets them free to do great quality work with our clients like Gonzague.
Great, thank you. Maybe just if we keep moving, Gen AI. I mean, we talked about business, customers. If we talk about data, there's also a component around regulation, which is a regulation and law by if we speak globally. How did you anticipate that piece, Gonzague, at LVMH, or how did you even? How are you moving forward with these constraints in your company?
Absolutely, it's a super important one, and actually with this we started with this one to say that we will embrace AI through a certain way, not at any cost, not at any way, and we say we will do it in a responsible manner. So we embrace totally the responsible AI framework, which means for us three main things. The first one is the one that you have said is, of course, compliance with all regulation around the world. That's a fundamental pillar. It's non-negotiable. We're in the luxury industry. We need to be exemplary. LVMH is the leader in this industry. Yep. So we need even more to be exemplary. So no compromise at all, and we are not trying to play around, etc., etc. It's kind of an absolute must, I would say. The second element is about sustainability. Same, we need to be exemplary. So we would like to embrace AI in the most sustainable manner as possible. Yep. And the third one is ethical way to use AI. This, and coming back, I love what you said, David, about human-centered, human centricity. This is at the core of our way to engage in an ethical manner with AI. Where we have we are part of the human-centered AI program of Stanford University. We have joined this program last October. As a true engagement for us to say we would like to be serious there. And now we have some professors at Stanford who are auditing our algorithm to make sure that we don't have BS, that we are very ethical in the way our algorithms are written. Beyond that, they are also auditing the way of our usage of AI. Are we sure that we are trying to use AI not to replace people, but to, as you said, David, to augment our people? Is it truly the case or not? Yeah. Or actually, yes, we say la 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 on the stage. We are here not to replace people, but to enhance people. Is it true in our client services? The AI tool that we have put in place in the client services, is it truly to have our client services to be better? Mm-hmm. Or actually it's just to replace them and to say the robot will do better? Yeah. If they will audit this one. Yeah. And the third element is overall for the company, overall for the society, is our usage of AI bringing good fruits, I would say, for the world, for the planet, and for the human being.
Any point to add, David, on this? I mean, item? You've got to feel for the regulators because the AI is moving so quickly, and where we're going next is hard to predict. I think the EU AI Act is probably the format that will be most likely adopted around the world, and that kind of risk-based framework with transparency as you get to higher risks. I think that's where regulators are going to settle on. And I think organizations need to really good brakes if they're going to drive fast. And so when we're talking to boards, and we did a survey of 1,800 supervisory boards of over organizations, 1,800 of them are doing reviews of AI in the sort of way that you talked about. And I love that partnership with Stanford, who are going to audit your ethical statements. And so the principal question of boards is this one. It's, are you going to be trusted? Are you going to make any mistakes? Are you going to damage the brand? your brand, our brand, are our most precious assets. And so this question is absolutely fundamental if organizations are going to adopt AI into their work models.
Great, thank you. I think we have time for a last question. Maybe the last one. If you had one advice to give to a CXO about their journey in AI, what would it be?
My advice would be to three elements. One, take it seriously, because it's a very fundamental matter that will change the way to work, the internal processes, and our organizations. So take it seriously, take it at the highest level of the company. It's not a tech topic. Number two, you take it seriously, but you take it also in an ethical manner, and make sure that you have all the guarantee that you will use AI in an ethical manner and in a human-centric manner and in a responsible manner. That would be, so put already this very strict framework. And the third one is being focused. Because as David, you said, the technology is going so fast. We are so fascinated by all of this, etc., that quite quickly we can be lost. We can have so much risk about spending money in the wrong place, about technological dispersion. To blow up your IT, your shadow IT will blow up absolutely everywhere. Because the cost part is important as a CEO. Because Gen AI, actually, the CapEx is quite low.
Yeah.
So, contrary, usually IT CapEx is high, but then the running cost is low. Gen AI is the opposite, actually. The CapEx is low and the running cost is high. So we have to, as a CEO, to make sure that we will control it somehow. So being focused, define few areas, few priorities where we will make the difference as a company, and where will we make the difference versus the competition. How we will use these technologies to have a competitive edge to win in our various markets we are playing in. So that would be my advice. Very short, is coordinated or even centralized, ethical, human-centered, and focused and prioritized.
I think AI is an enterprise-wide transformation. It's going to affect all of the whole organization at once. And this is probably your take it serious point, because it's so tempting to just play around with it and do some experimentation. And that won't go anywhere, because it won't have the full enterprise support to it. And then to back that up, it's going back to my three things: being outcome focused, being trust-centric, and being human-centric. And that would wrap up all of the things that you would need to do to make the enterprise properly transformed with this.
Thank you. So probably time to conclude. I took 3 points, 3 main points, or maybe just before concluding, maybe if you have questions in the room, I don't know if we can take a few minutes or a few seconds for questions. So we can probably. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry, it's very hard to hear. Okay.
If you get the question of ethical in AI, I ask if your data is in a Google company, big tech company, it is ethical.
Very happy to answer that question. So indeed, we are storing our data in some, of course, big cloud and big cloud providers. Different in China and the rest of the world, by the way. But here, of course, it's our instances and very clustered in, versus the rest of the world. I would like to add also that, especially on the Gen AI part and AI part, we are very conscious and we have very strict rules inside the company not to use the open source model, because we know that we have, beyond the ethical aspect, we have also a IP aspect. We would like to protect also confidentiality, not about only people, but also of our brands, of know-how, etc., etc. So basically what we have done at LVMH is that we have taken this open source model that we run on our architecture, on our instances, to make sure that it stay, I would say, between us, and this will not leak outside. So, we take it extremely seriously, and to run all our AI and to store our data and to run our AI on our premises, not outside.
Yeah, and the architectural answer is the same for KPMG. We're very careful to manage the, and then in addition, you need to train people in how to use the data responsibly, and so that's a big feature of our training program. And I also think, if I take my content point and the data point together, it's important that people really understand what they're trying to achieve with their AI solutions, and that you narrow them down. That way you can really control the risk of the data, and you can be much more ethical in the use of the data. Only use the data that you need for the business purpose, and then you manage a lot of those risks better. There's a question. Here you go. I've got the microphone.
Thank you. I have another question about your mentions and how beauty advisors and fashion advisors are feeling the change around AI and about their tools for working every day. Are KPMG helping you for this change, or are you dealing with it inside your mentions?
So yes, definitely we are, our beauty advisors in the beauty industry, client advisors in more the fashion and watch and jewelry businesses. Of course, they are, they see that their tools actually are more and more powered by AI, and are more and more sophisticated, more and more efficient, and hopefully help them to be better and better. So this program, we have designed it, ourselves at the LVMH group level. Of course, we are very happy to rely on external support providers, etc., etc. But I would say, what I said at the beginning, we take it very seriously, and we are not driven by, I would say, external forces or providers or consultants, etc., that would tell us what to do. We consider that this is core to our business, so it's our strategy. It's a bit our stuff. And of course, then to implement it, we are very happy to rely on external support and to benefit from the expertise from outside.
Any other question? Probably time to conclude in 1 minute. So if I try to summarize what we shared in the three items, a framework that we need to leverage on with a strong support from the executive. So that is a key starting point. AI as a tool. So we also need to consider AI as a tool to facilitate the adoption or integration from the people, from the team. And last, talking about change, driving the change through use cases to facilitate the change of processes and again facilitate the adoption. Is it a fair summary?
I love it.
No, you must have been in a different panel. No, very good. Very good.
Thank you. So I'll try to leave it with you. I'll leave an open question with you, and you will think about it. How can we leverage on Gen AI to create a more collaborative working space, among ourselves? This is something we did not discuss too much. But again, this is an open question. Please reach out to our experts to follow up on this discussion. Thank you again, Gonzague. Thank you, David, for this panel. Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much.